can just imagine how it is for these people here living in this building right by Stade-de-France. You know, all the noise they must hear during the events. I mean, I live about a kilometer north of here, and I could hear Celine Dion going, ooh, and I could definitely hear Keith Richards playing his guitar. It must really be hell living here. This is a very old building. It doesn't look that old, but it's actually very old. These are called HLM. These are subsidized apartments for middle-income people, lower to middle-income people. And you have to be on a waiting list for years to get into one. They look a bit drab from the outside, but they tend to be quite spacious and relatively modern. And it's quite a good place to live. I mean, you know, you do have to pay a habitation tax here in France. If you have a roof over your head, you got to pay a tax. If you have a TV, you got to pay a tax. But here, you don't have to pay property tax because you're a renter. But your utility bills will not come every month. They'll only come a few times a year. You only have 15 days to pay them. And you don't get paid very often here. And you never get paid by check. You know, it will always be by wire transfer. If you write more than one bad check, you lose the right to any bank account here in France for 10 years, which is really a death sentence. Now, there's the canal down there. This is the Roi Merlin. There's the Saint-Denis. And Bruce came down here for a quick, and I told him to get a Royale and 3 specialty sandwiches. Actually, I should have said géant, but he just brought back 3 little cheeseburgers and totally forgot that he was supposed to get 6 sandwiches. But I don't know. He's a very easily distracted guy, so I just advised him to marry into an extended family so that he can be looked after. Quick is kind of good as far as French fast food goes. You certainly don't want to eat McDonald's here in France. It's very expensive and it tastes lousy. Absolutely lousy. And the service is very bad. This is an elementary school over here. All of this district is new. This didn't exist when I moved here 17, 18 years ago. And our taxes have really gone up. We used to have the second lowest taxes in all of France here in Saint-Denis, second only to Nanterre. And now we pay way more than people do in Paris. And Saint-Denis is very communist. We do have a good library system and some very nice parks. But you know, face it, this is pretty grungy. It's not a great place to live. Now, we are just adjacent to Paris, which is very nice. There's a canal. You can actually walk into Paris from here if you really want to. Otherwise, you can take the 153 bus down to Porte de la Chapelle and pick up your metro there. Or you can take the number 13 metro. There is a train system here called the RER, which I absolutely detest. I consider it dirty, dangerous, unpleasant, expensive, doesn't run very well, not good value for your money. I would say avoid the RER system. The SNCF commuter trains, that's more for people who live a bit farther outside of town. And they cost way more, you know. Alright, here is a circus down here. Circuses and zoos are very popular here. This is the Jesse Owen stop. I think it's really cool that Jesse Owen has his own stop here. They were mispronouncing his name. They were saying Jesse Owen, you know. And now they're saying Jesse Owen, which is a better pronunciation. Yeah, circuses are very popular here, see? It's a very old-fashioned culture here in France, you know. They're a little bit expensive, but, you know, people make a big effort to take the kids. And you can frequently wander around in the afternoon and see the animals in the cages. Animal welfare here is so-so, frankly. They do have more rules than in many other countries. This is a French-Belgian circus called Muller. See, I've watched all of this be built since I moved here. It's very, very interesting. It's really very interesting. Alright, thanks for riding the bus with me. I'm off to a doctor's appointment for various formalities here. My website is cutecatface.com, and on YouTube I do Slow By Motion and Cute Cat Face, and on Daily Motion I do Lisa Fallour. Please join me there. I think the women of YouTube, especially the truthers, are doing a fantastic job and being very brave. You know, I'm only a woman, and a handicapped woman at that, with pretty much basically no income, and I've got a tough row to hoe, but I try to make the most out of it every day. I don't need that much to survive. I really don't. You know, I get by somehow. Alright. See you later, alligator.